Hello and welcome to tutorial 14 on the main growl. So we're making progress now. We've made it through all of the intro, apart from the drums, and we've made it to the drop finally. And to this growl here. I accidentally turned off the effects, hang on. There we go. Which, on its own, sounds something like this. Or technically without these little chops, like. So I'm going to talk you through how I made it in the order that I made it. So I'm going to turn off the effects, get into Serum, which is what the synth I made it in, and start talking through it. So basically, I used a custom wavetable, and most of the time when I use a custom wavetable, and it looks like that's what I did here, I will take a kick, because kicks, like I've said before, you can drag them into Citrus and they sound great, but they also make pretty good like Serum wavetables. Not just kicks, but like weird percussion about stuff like that. Always makes quite good wavetables. So I'll never be able to find the actual sample, but it was something like that, some piece of percussion or possibly a kick. So always after importing the first waveform, you screw around with the wavetable position, trying to find some position that you like. In this though, unlike normal, I didn't automate the wavetable position at all. So usually I will have a macro on the wavetable position, but that wasn't necessary here for some reason. I suppose you could move this around, it would sound different. So I could have automated that throughout the song, that might have been cool, but never mind, too late now. Everything's here, if you already know how to use Serum, is fairly self-explanatory. Down 2 octaves, a little bit of bend minus on the macro, a little bit of level on the macro. Every single knob you see attached to anything is attached to a macro. I really don't like using the built-in envelopes and LFOs and things like that, because what's the point? Why not just put everything on a macro and automate it yourself? Because then if you want to change it later, it's so much easier. I really don't get why using LFOs and stuff is so popular, but never mind. Other than that, it's got a high pass on it, which does something like this. Thanks to the graphic, it's fairly self-explanatory too. So generally what you'll do is attach the macro to it, and then have the macro at the top value, hold it, and then adjust the value to try and find the perfect position for the cutoff. So you'll find a point around 3/4 of the way up somewhere where it starts to sound different, starts to sound vowely. There's a distinct like ah quality to it. So you look for that, and then sort of back off from that just a bit. And then automate this frequency thing to come down and meet it from the top. And crank up the resonance a bit. Into the effects, hard clipping, turn it up a bit. Compressor, crank the threshold down and the ratio down. Turn on multiband. I'm fairly sure this is basically just OTT. Made by the same guy as well. After all of this, then I turned on the sub, so that wasn't a thing until I'd already done all the effects. I also automated the level of oscillator A I forgot to talk about, so from 0 at the bottom here to 80, which is what it normally is, because the compressor turns it into an absolute brick wall. So to try and to get some of that like dynamic range back, I like to automate the volume with the macro. Because if I remove this, it is somewhat of an ear rape. So I'll slap that back on. Another interesting thing is if you can't get it exactly 80, which I just did, but if it's difficult to get it to exactly 80, find it in the matrix and use the slider here, which in this case is this one. Anyway, I did the same volume automation thing on the sub, 2 octaves down, slightly square sine, not really much to talk about. So yeah, as far as I can tell, that is the entirety of the patch in Serum. After this came Let's turn off all these. An EQ, just to make it sound nicer for some reason. As I've already mentioned before, you just take a massive, huge spike, look for things you feel like, oh, there's not enough of that, or there's too much of that, and then just sort of turn it down or up, obviously, depending on. So, more or less EQ to taste there. I should really have cut off the very sub. That probably would have been a good idea mixing-wise. So, high pass, steep A, something like that. A common technique is to cut out lots of the whole sub completely and then have a separate instrument to do the bass. But I did not bother with that here. That's called sub separation if you want to Google it. But yeah, there's no, I didn't do that here for whatever reason. Serum seems to do quite a good job of providing its very own sub without being too messy. Especially with the direct out switch, which I never use. After that was a bit of Camel Crusher purely for compression. OTT seems to make things a lot thicker and more full-bodied, whereas Camel Crusher adds a huge, great big spiky attack at the beginning, which is what I wanted, because I wanted maybe some little choppy parts, because this is glitch hop, so I want it to be nice and like a very distinct, definite note beginning slapping you in the face. As for the other three, these are only used in one place, so the whole entire patch is done now. Basically, this synth is talked about. These three things, however, I used in the build-up, and I'll find that. Ooh, where? There we go, here it is. And all they do is a Camel Crusher with a ginormous amount of resonance. Camel Crusher's filter is really good for this. So the Camel Crusher is at 0% mix throughout the entire song, apart from this bar, where you can pretty much graphically see what's going on here. The resonance doesn't move, and the ambience is turned on for a brief moment after the note's finished. Now, Fruity Send. That was presumably used to fade it in or out somewhere, but... Oh wait, yes, there it is. Here's the Fruity Send. Because I wanted it to be quieter here than it was later. But I didn't want to have to clone the mixer channel and turn it down or anything like that, so I just used a Fruity Send. So that's everything there is to know about that particular growl. Nice. Oh, wait, not nice, but... I thought you might know where I'm going with this, but... Oh, it would have been better if I'd have found it faster, to be honest. This is going to be shit. How have I forgotten? Yeah, you can just go now, there's no need to stay here for this. Ah, yes, not nice, but...
Nice.
There we go. See you in the next video.